And we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't you ever be sad. Lean on me in times of bad. When the day comes and you're down, and I'm in trouble, and I'm about to drown, just hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm on my way. If you get cold, yeah, I will be your cover. Don't have to worry, 'cause I'm here. Don't need to suffer, baby, 'cause I'm here. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Look at it. Reach out to me for satisfaction. Yeah. Look at here, Dave. That's all she got to do. Call my name, yeah. For reaction. Yeah, yeah, Now don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when the times are bad. When the day comes and you're down, baby, the river trouble and I'm about to drown. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. Here we come. Hold on, I'm saying I'm coming. Hold on, don't you worry.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Now, hello everybody, welcome. The bell of liberty has rung. Wherever you are tonight, hello, 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 and welcome to the sacred halls of the Conservative College. I am your humble, neighborhood, friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto, your educator in common sense. And I am so glad to be back in your life tonight. We have people watching us on Roku, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and my favorite place on the World Wide Web, www.fhtv.tv. Thank you all for watching tonight, wherever you are. I'm going to give shout outs tonight. We'll have an afterglow right after this class tonight, where you and I can spend some one-on-one time getting to know each other. It's going to be a great afterglow tonight. I have a lot of letters in Toto's mailbox, a lot of things I want to show you tonight. So welcome. It is 8 o'clock on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Mississippi, just outside of New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh, man. Well, one of my favorite places in the world to go is Maui. We love Maui. My wife and I have been several times with my family. And one of the places we love in Maui more than any other place is the little town of Lahaina. And I am so heartbroken tonight over the tragedy on the beautiful paradise island of Maui. If you're watching anywhere on Maui tonight, we do have a lot of followers in Maui. Please know that my heart is broken for all of you. It'll never be the same, I'm sure, but you will rebuild. You will build again. This is not the end. It looks like it, but you will rise again. We're praying for you. All of Toto's army is praying for you, and your fellow citizens all over America and the world are praying for your comeback. Please know that we love you guys over in Maui. Here's a picture there that I want to show you. The top there is what it looked like 2 days ago. And then that is what it looks like today. What a tragedy. You know, life, and by the way, that street there is a street that I've walked down many, many times. Right there, right in Lahaina. I've been right there. I've caught the dinner cruise boat right there. Just a tragic, tragic, tragic thing. And so anyway, our hearts go out tonight. It just goes to show, guys, life can be wonderful 1 minute, tragic the next. Be good to people. Love people. Be kind. Be sweet. You never know. Don't burn bridges. Don't do folks wrong. Don't go behind their backs. Do right. Love people, okay? You never know what tomorrow holds. Your life may be on top today. It could be on bottom tomorrow. It may be on bottom today, but it can be on top tomorrow. I wrote a song years ago called The Suddenlies of God. It's a beautiful song. And it says, the suddenlies of God. You never know what's going to happen to you suddenly. So our prayers and our thoughts truly go out to the residents of Maui, the citizens of Lahaina. Those are our fellow citizens. And so please keep them in your prayers, okay? Ask the Father to give them peace right now, to give them hope. Man, I'll tell you, it just breaks my heart to know for me personally that I will not be able to see the old Lahaina that I truly loved. As a matter of fact, they had a tree there. It was a banyan tree in the city square. It was huge. I think it was the largest banyan tree in America. And that tree that we loved is now gone. Oh, I'm so thankful there's coming a day where there'll be no more sorrow. There'll be no more tragedy, no more trials whenever our Lord returns, amen, and sets up his kingdom right here on earth. Well, let's get to the politics of this world that we live in. The great United States of America is full of news tonight. We're going to try to break it all down for you. I'm going to try to give you my insight, my perspective, so you can understand the news. Before I do that, remember last Tuesday night, I showed you, or I told you, I sang, I told you so. Breaking news. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Republican says one photo from 15 makes Joe Biden's claims. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. I'm already going to talk about that, so I'll come back to that. All right, sorry. I had breaking news there about fake Joe Biden. But remember Tuesday night, I sang I Told You So about Mike Pence. I told you that he confessed with his own mouth that he did have the power to reject votes and turn the vote over to the legislature. Tonight, I had another clip of that I just wanted to play for you so you can know what we're saying is the absolute truth. Watch closely.
The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. So,
and the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives.
In other words, he could have rejected them. They would have gone to the House of Representatives. That's what we said from the beginning, folks. So after 3 years, I want to settle it once and for all. For all of our followers and our fans and our friends, we were right. We told you Pence had the power to turn it over to the legislature for the House to vote on the President of the United States of America. He said that if he would have rejected the slates of electors, that's exactly what would have happened. So, let's just ring the bell of truth. How about that? So we were right. Okay, guys. So you can trust the Conservative College. We always bring to you the truth of the matter. Speaking of the truth of the matter, I want to chime in on an argument that is happening right now in the political world. I don't know if any of you remember, about a week ago, Samuel Alito of the Supreme Court, one of the justices there, did something that they rarely do. He made a public statement about the court and its relationship with the Congress. Now, of course, what he said made a lot of liberals angry. He told the truth. He said that the Congress has no power over the justices on the Supreme Court. He reiterated the fact that the Supreme Court is an equal branch of government that Congress does not have control over. Well, the next day, the liberals were going crazy. So they began to tweet about, well, maybe you forgot that we can cut your salary. Maybe you forgot that we can increase the seats on the court. So let Professor Toto give you the truth of the matter. So when you're talking to people that don't know what they're talking about, you can shut them down or shut those lies down. The framers of our great Constitution were brilliant. I've always believed they were like the writers of the Bible. They didn't even really know what they were writing. The men that wrote the scriptures, they had no idea about what they were writing. They were inspired to write it. And the writing has proven to be more than just man's writing. I believe that about our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution. I believe that mere men wrote those words, but those words were inspired. The framers set up our government to protect the last bastion of hope for America. Let's bring it back to my class on Tuesday night. Does any of you remember when I taught you about the last bastion of hope, why Donald Trump must return in 2024 to protect the last institution that the conservatives have any hope for, and that is the judiciary. Well, our framers wanted to protect the judicial independence, not for the judge's sake or the court's sake or even our sake, but for justice sake. They framed it the way they framed it. And I'm sorry that these congressmen are so dumb that they don't know this. Tell them to tune in to the Conservative College and they will learn about this great nation. By the way, would you hit that like, love button, whatever it is, and help us get up in the algorithm? Would you share right now? That's not a lot to ask, right? Thank you so much. They protected, the only way that our framers could protect us from tyranny was to make the judicial branch completely independent from the other two branches. The only way you do not have a tyrannical government in the executive or the legislative branches, there must be the separation of powers in our Constitution that grants those three branches of government from being encroached, is the word the Constitution uses, by any branch of the other power. Our government would fall apart if those three branches were not equal. So therefore, the Congress has no authority over the justices that are sitting on the Supreme Court. That court was designed to preserve liberty, to avoid tyranny, and to preserve judicial independence from those two branches. Let's talk about preserving judicial independence. The framers decided to keep the judiciary independent, namely the Supreme Court, that the Supreme Court justices must be given lifetime tenure. This is why, as you see the Democrats going after the last bastion of hope in America, the judiciary, you're going to hear them talking a lot about term limits on the judges, which is completely diabolically opposed to our Constitution. The framers gave them lifetime tenure for the reason of preserving justice, and the Constitution forbids the Congress from even reducing their salaries. So whatever dumb congressman said what he said, he has no idea what he's talking about. If you can reduce their salaries, then you can influence their judgment. So therefore, you would own the judiciary. You cannot reduce the salary of the justices. Alexander Hamilton explained in the Federalist Papers. If you've not read those, everyone should read the Federalist Papers. Hamilton wrote in those papers that the judiciary is incontestably and beyond comparison the weakest of the three branches of government. Do you know why? Because it does not pass its own laws and it cannot enforce its own laws. It's the weakest branch of government. Therefore, it requires the strongest amount of constitutional protection. Now, the weakest link has to be protected from the power, influence, or the political pressure from the other two branches. The framers were most concerned about legislative tyranny, exactly what's going on in our nation. The Supreme Court justice has to go through a great process to get on the bench, but once he does, he cannot be removed except by impeachment. 2/3 of the Senate has to do that. Finally, Article 3 gives Congress the power to alter the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, but not the justices themselves. And now you know the rest of the story. You actually know the truth. So our three branches of government must be protected at all times from every attempt. That's why you're hearing stack the court. Watch carefully. Watch the libtards. Watch the Democrats. As their next goal, their first one was education. They won. Their next one was the media. They won. The next one was entertainment. They won. The last front of this battle is the judiciary. That's why every time you watch CNN, they're trying to come against Clarence Thomas and Alito and calling them a rogue court. because now their sights is set on attacking the courts. So as you talk to somebody, don't be caught up in their ignorance. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Hey guys, I want to show you something real quick. If you will let me, I want to take you over to a website that I love. It's where I go every day to find out how my silver and gold coins are doing. I want to educate you about something real quick. A lot of people don't understand collectible coins. And a lot of you have emailed me, hundreds of you, saying, should I buy bullion or should I buy coins? Give me 1 second. See if I can reach that. There it is. I want to show you the difference in coins and bullion. Bullion is strictly whatever the spot price is, that's what it's worth. Okay? Collectible coins is like a baseball card. You can give me 2 baseball cards, and both of them may be worth about 1 penny each as far as the paper it's written on. But if you've got one that's signed by Babe Ruth, now you got a card that's worth $1 million, okay? It's the same way with classic cars. You can take 2 cars. They might be same year model, same everything, but one was taken care of and one is unique. One has been restored. All of a sudden, both cars worth the same thing intricately, but because of perception and market value, the one car is worth so much more than the other old car. So it's the same way with these coins. Let me give you an example. This coin I hold in my hand with the butterfly on it, I paid $139 for that coin a year ago. Today, I can sell that coin right now in 30 seconds. I can sell it online for $1,108. And if you see, wherever you see green, that's all the coins that have increased in value. So folks, I just wanted to educate you real quick. My money is worth 28% more than I paid for these coins right now. So a lot of people are just really confused about that. And of course, if you would like for us to help you get involved with that, you just go to godsmoney.info and book an appointment with us right now. And we will be more than happy to help you walk through that. So a lot of people were real confused. So I just wanted to clear that up. All right. I want to take you to a school board meeting that's going to cause you to go, what? I'm going to bring you to the Wizard of Oz right now, the Land of Oz. We always have to go to the Land of Oz. We just have to, because that's where most of the world is living right now, in the Land of Oz. So when we get to the Land of Oz, here's what we find. Watch carefully.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I enrolled my daughter in kindergarten this past spring, and I wanted to know what my daughter was learning. When I called the school and asked, they said that they don't teach, they don't call children boys and girls. When I asked whether they taught gender theory, they said that they refrained from using gender terminology in the classroom and that they embed the values of gender identity into the classroom at every grade at an age-appropriate level. When I asked about critical race theory, they said that they teach 5-year-olds on the first Thanksgiving this ridiculous question where they say, what could have been done differently on the first Thanksgiving? When I asked more questions, they wouldn't answer me and they stonewalled me. They told me to submit public records requests. This was the only way I could get my questions answered. And when I did submit those public records requests, and when they did know that I had a lot of questions, my own school district turned around, put my name on the agenda of a public school board meeting, and publicly threatened to sue me for submitting the public records request that they told me to submit. They had a 5-hour school board meeting where they publicly bullied, harassed me. They called me racist. They let other people attack me in public comment. They debated openly my moral character and my political motivations. And they had never met me before. And this was my first school board meeting that I had ever been to in my life. They even hired a PR firm to publicly defame me in the national media. It's now 8 months later. I
did that because she just wanted to know what her children were learning in the classroom. They said, file a public records request. She files it. She gets sued for filing that request. That video goes on to tell the story. And it's just, I tell you, we are living in a time right now like I have never seen before. But the good news is that that parent fought. She did not allow them to bully her. She did not let it scare her. And now the public school system is paying her a big check for what happened to her. I want to encourage you, patriots, tonight. Never back down to bullies. If truth is on your side, you will win in the end. Why? Because truth may be a long time coming, but when it comes, it does not take long. So, ladies and gentlemen, fight the good fight of faith. Do not ever, ever, ever stop fighting that good fight of faith. Now, we have breaking news from the House of Representatives. This was just come out moments ago. Subpoenas are now being issued for the Biden family, including Joe and Hunter, according to Representative James Comer. House Republicans are releasing their subpoenas to all members of the Biden family. They will all testify under oath before the American people. And James Comer says this was always going to end with the Bidens coming in front of this committee. We're subpoenaing the whole family. We are putting a case together that would win in a court of law. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at tonight's class title. Look at that gumbo pot. You see that top? That is where we are. I told you that Donald Trump would rule this nation through the House of Representatives, and that's exactly what he is doing. This truth gumbo pot is ready to explode. Truth is coming to a town near you. You don't have to just hope for it. You can know it. The Bidens are going under subpoena, including Joe Obama himself, before the committee. And it looks like those subpoenas, from what I can tell, are being issued as we speak. So that's great news. That's all we want, is the truth to come out, for the pressure to be on them that they have put on Donald Trump. Now, let me show you how much of this truth is coming out. I want you to watch your screen. Professor Toto is going to explain what you are looking at. This is a graphic of all the dirty money that has been forwarded to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. So far, $26 million has been funneled through shell companies. Here's the way it works. Look at your screen. The woman you're looking at there is Yelena Baturina. Yelena Baturina. Who is Yelena Baturina? She's the wife of the mayor of Moscow. That's who she is. Well, for whatever reason, Yelena just felt like getting $3.5 million into the Biden bank account. But, of course, we cannot write the check to Uncle Joe or even his progeny. So what do? We write the check to Rosemont Seneca Thornton. What is that? A shell company. Now, Rosemont Seneca Thornton writes a check to Rosemont Seneca Partners. Okay? Rosemont Seneca Partners writes a check to Rosemont Cinema Buhai. Now, Rosemont Cinema Buhai writes a check for $750,000 to Devin Archer. How nice of them. And then the rest of that $2 million goes to Uncle Joe. That's where that other $2 million goes, is to none other than Uncle Joe. So the money is definitely finding its way around, and it's doing it through these shell companies. Now, I want to play you a quick little brief video of this news reporter that asked Uncle Jojo where the money was, if he knew anything about the money, and this is his answer. And then I'm coming back to show you what a liar he is.
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business in anybody. And I know you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's not true. He has never, ever had any dealings with the business partners. Well, here's the problem with that. Problem number one. What you're looking at right there is in the spring of 2014, this is Joe Biden with the oligarch that I can't even pronounce his name, Kazakhstani, who owns some kind of bank. They're meeting in the Washington, D.C. hotel. And he's the prime minister. That's who this guy is, the prime minister. And he wired $142,000 to Rosemont Bohai. The next day, the same man sent $142,000 to Rosemont Seneca, whatever. And then he sent another payment from a Chinese-owned company. All right? Here's your next problem. Since Joe said it's a lie, he's never had any dealings with any of these people. Here is more of the same. In February 14, a Russian oligarch, that's them, sends $3.5 million, and there they all stand together. Here's the third problem. All these people that he had nothing to do with, and where are they at? You guessed it, in the people's house. And there's some of those business associates that funneled their money all the way to where it could buy them influence. In May of 17, Joe Biden met with the family business partner, Tony Bobulinski, twice. That's him right there. And then in June of 18, Joe Biden texted Hunter saying that he was with Jeff Cooper and that Cooper wanted to do some work with him. I bet he did. Folks, that's where we are right now. That's the world we live in. It is literally the land of Oz. You understand me? We're living in the land of Oz. I have no doubt about it. I want to show you that land of Oz. I want to bring you back 2 years ago. I want you to notice the date at the top of this video clip. And when you do, you're going to see version 1.0. Version 1.0 of your most favorite district attorney or attorney general ever. Your most favorite one. Here is version 1.0. Listen.
Sort of cheap talk to get around the fundamental problem, which is the bipartisan commission chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker said back in 2009 that mail-in voting is fraught with the risk of fraud and coercion.
But since then,
and until this administration,
sorry, they haven't proved it.
Let me talk.
Yeah, please.
And since that time, there have been it in the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion. The only time the narrative changed is after this administration came in. But elections that have been held with mail have found substantial fraud and coercion. For example, we indicted someone in Texas, 1,700 ballots collected from people who could vote. He made them out and voted for the person he wanted to. Okay? Because that kind of thing happens with mail-in ballots, and everyone knows it.
That kind of thing happens with what, Bill Barr? With mail-in ballots. Tell me it ain't so, sir. I don't even know what I just looked at, actually. I don't even know what that blob, who that blob is. I don't know. Because he don't sound nothing like this blob.
Describe your interactions with the president on this question about whether or not he won or lost and what you told him?
Well, I wasn't discussing, well, I go through that in my book in painstaking detail, but on 3 occasions at least, and I told him in no uncertain terms that there was no evidence of fraud that would have changed the outcome.
Bill Barr says 2 years ago, mail-in ballots is rife with fraud. And yet, when it came time for him to investigate that fraud, he said there was no fraud. Sir, you cannot have it 2 ways. And we may have all been born at morning time, but it wasn't this morning. You said yourself that if it's mail-in ballots, that it's rife for fraud. And then you change your story when you're mad at Trump. You, sir, are a hypocrite. That's worse than a hypocrite. A hypocrite. Your hype don't match up to your other hype. The truth is, he told the truth 2 years ago. Now, I want you to see what happened in Michigan, because as you know, there's been a great discovery in the land of Michigan about these mail-in ballots. According to Bill Barr, I want every one of you to keep that video clip in your mind every time you see Bubba Barr on the news. Every time you see Big Bubba Barr on the news, remember he said to us, he told us mail-in ballots is rife with fraud until it was time for him to investigate fraud. You're about to hear a clip right now where they confess in the first 20 seconds that they never even investigated the frogs in Michigan.
Again, there was no recount. Remember that Joe Biden won our state by over 154,000 votes. That's an insurmountable number. So there was no effort to do a recount whatsoever. Every single one of the claims that had been made in court had been shot down. There was no viable avenue for a decertification of an election that, again, had already been properly certified here.
Well, we believe that we had an incredibly fair and thorough election, and that it was conducted, in accordance with the rules, and that the results accurately reflect the will of the people of our state. And we believe that everything was done properly here in Michigan, and that the results ought to be certified. So, that the candidates don't get to pick the winners, the voters do, and the voters of the state of Michigan have spoken.
And what they found in each and every one of the more than 250 audits they conducted is that Michigan's election was the most secure in our state's history. And the
Right, the most secure election in their state history, no frogs at all. And here is the headline. We now have proof that massive voter frogs was uncovered in Michigan, including an estimated 800,000 ballot applications sent to non-qualified voters. In other words, mail-in ballots that Bill Barr admits is rife with fraud. What they found was bags of prepaid gift cards, guns with silencers, burner phones, Democrat-funded organization with temporary facilities in several states, but it was the most secure one in history. I want to prove to you that they're liars. I want to show you Michigan elections, what they look like, in case you've forgotten. Let's go back to about 3 o'clock.
Look at.
Sorry. I want to go back to about 3 o'clock in the morning when the mysterious black car pulls through. Let's go back to that moment when Donald Trump was wiping it out in Michigan. Why did they shut the counting down? Does anybody remember? Because the people needed to get rest. They were sleepy and they were tired. But it doesn't look like the driver or the man walking out of that door right now was real tired or sleepy. It doesn't look like when he hands the black car some mysterious object that either one of them needed rest. Only the vote counters needed rest. But the mules didn't need any rest. They were out delivering ballots, pallets of them. Oh, here they come now. 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. These mules are not needing rest. No, they're out delivering pallets of ballots. And surprisingly, not one of them for Donald Trump. Here, in this situation, Barr admits they did not investigate any of this because he said he did make a phone call to Detroit, and they told him that this is normal in Detroit. The Biden spike that happened about the same time, but we're told there's nothing to see here. Don't look. Nothing to see here. Fake registration forms to fake addresses. Illegals filling them in, 800,000 of them. And no one objects when they're counting them. No one objects to them. All the rules of verification have been broken for what? For COVID-19. All the rules broken. We've got to make sure every vote counts now. Massive, massive frogs. Massive frogs. I just want you to look at this to be reminded that they're lying to you. The spirit of deception has ruled the land. I want to prove to you it's deception. Big Bubba Barr, 2 years ago, told you if it's mail-in ballots, it's going to be frogs. They called Big Bubba, said, hey, we've got problems. He calls Detroit. They said, nothing to see here. He shuts down the investigation. And he does it at the very time when the people that were counting these mail-in ballots noticed something very wrong. All of these mail-in ballots are coming in from all over Detroit, but somehow they're all in perfect sequence of numbers. And no one has verified them, and no one is rejecting these ballots. No one at all. This is why you must know that you cannot let them gaslight you. Don't ever start thinking in your mind, well, maybe, no, maybe nothing. Mail-in ballots during COVID-19 was the enemy of the people. Why? because the rules were broken. The rules that have been in existence for decades and generations were broken so that everybody could send in a mail-in ballot. Listen to what this lady said that was counting these mail-in ballots in Michigan.
Writing down the ballot numbers and the last names of the person of the ballot that had the name on that ballot. They were all in sequence. These are absentee ballots, mail-in ballots. They cannot be in sequence. 2232 cannot have 2233 next to it, because if they're mailed in, they come in all different numbers. My antennas went up. That's exactly when I thought something is not right here. There was not even a date on those envelopes. It said November 0-2020. They got really mad at me. They said, you're not letting us do our job. You're disturbing us. And at that point, because we really don't want to be kicked out, so we were just kind of not challenging anything because we want to still stay in the room because we barely had anybody. Not only that, these sequence ballot numbers were all from the same area, like the Goddard Street in the downtown Detroit. Signatures were all alike. None of them were coming up in the system. They were all being entered manually. They even knew that none of these details would even be in the poll book or in the system.
The signatures were all alike, in perfect sequence order, even though they're coming from different addresses all over Detroit, but nothing to see there, right? Believe that if you want to, ladies and gentlemen. It was rife with frogs. Now, the good news is this. Every bit of this will soon come out in a court of law. Remember, we never could get in a court of law. Our voice could never be heard. But because of the plans of the enemy of Jack Smith, because of the indictments, we will now have 4 courts where every bit of this will be rehashed again and again for the whole world to hear the truth. When I come back in 30 seconds, I'm going to prove to you why and how Donald Trump is going to win in a court of law. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to break it down for you and show you why Trump wins.
Considered when you spend your money at these mega corporations where it's going? Are you aware that your hard-earned money is being used to support political corruption, which leads to poor federal leadership, hurting our economy, contributing to the overall detriment of our society? This is heavy stuff to think about, I know, but it's time we fought back. Introducing Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club. Here, we are a club that gives you the power to invest in companies that uphold patriotic and conservative values your family can respect. Rather than spending your money with these major corporations, we've partnered with a direct consumer company that offers over 400 high-quality, sustainable, and effective products that can be delivered fast, directly to your front door. So many patriots across America has joined us in this walkaway movement. Now it's your turn. Go to www.buybywalmart.com to join Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club today.
All right. Let's go to court. Let's me and you go to court right now. I am Judge Toto. That's me. I am your honor, Judge Toto. You are the jury. You are going to listen to what you're about to hear. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be Judge Toto right now. I'm sorry. I want to be the defense counsel. Okay? I want to defend President Trump. Now, I know in my mind, as his defense lawyer, that the prosecution has to prove one thing. They cannot just prove that a crime has occurred. They also must prove that criminality also carries with it criminal intent. That's where your defense attorney, Mr. Trump, is going right now. In order to prove the crime was committed, you must prove intent to commit a crime was there. Now, for that very reason, Jack Smith is trying to establish my prosecutor over there is trying to establish to the court that Donald Trump knew for a fact that he had lost the election. That is what Jack Smith has to prove. If you want to get conspiracy to overturn, if you want to get insurrection, if you want to get all of that, you have to prove, because if you don't prove the intent, you lose your case before the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. So he's going to prove, the prosecutor, that Trump knew for a fact he lost the election. That's the only way you have a crime here, is if Trump knew he lost it and did not want to let go of that power because he knew he lost it. So my job tonight is to now take the defense stand and speak to you, the jury. The first thing I want to draw your attention to tonight, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'd like to bring you to Fulton County, Georgia, where 147,000 mail-in paper ballots have been continuously blocked by the Georgia Secretary of State. However, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we had a hero in Georgia by the name of voterga.org. They were able to get into Fulton County and take low-resolution images, and here's what they found in Fulton County, Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. In Georgia, we have evidence that every scanned ballot has to produce 2 files. Are you with me, jury? Every scanned ballot will produce 2 files. One file extension is .tiff. The other is .sha, S-H-A. Those 2 files, ladies and gentlemen, are produced simultaneously at the exact same time. One ballot shoots out 2 files. Yet, we have a strange paradox. 16,000 ballots, the authentication files were made days after the image file. Pause. I want you to grasp, ladies and gentlemen, what I just told you. One ballot simultaneously produces 2 files. One is the image file, one is the authentication file. All right? But with these ballots, ladies and gentlemen, in Fulton County, the second file that authenticates the image was not created until days later. How is that possible? Great. 17,724 final certified recount presidential votes have no authentication file. 16,000 was produced days later. There's another 17,000 that to date still has no authentication file, no support whatsoever that they are legitimate. Now, this is another impossibility because the image is needed to create a cast vote record, which is needed to tabulate the vote. It is possible that the Fulton County discovered a ballot shortage in the recount. And rather than concede that Trump won, someone stuffed 17,000 paper ballots into a cardboard box, but the person did not make a scanned image of each ballot because the dates on the scan would have revealed the hoax. Now, 132,000 mail-in ballots cannot be authenticated because of the missing SHA files. By the way, what I just told you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is just one of 15 things found in Fulton County by voterga.org. You can watch everything I just told you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by going to gaballots.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Attorney Toto is not finished. No. Let's ride over down the yellow brick road. Let's go to Pennsylvania. And I'll prove to you a violation of Penal Code 25 PA Statute 3154. The election was certified with a massive excess of ballots over voters. To be clear, I'm talking about the excess of ballots over registered voters who actually voted. Here's the problem in Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, we have more ballots than actual voters. Now, not more than voters on the roll, but the people that actually voted. There was a 202,000 voter deficit. That was a key reason that many Republicans, including the Pennsylvania legislature, wanted Vice President Mike Pence to delay the announcement of the electors for 10 days. There was a deficit. Something didn't add up. Because the people that did this naively thought that there's supposed to be just one ballot for every voter. But months after the election was certified, the excess remained. There's another organization in Pennsylvania called Verity Vote, and it showed light on the matter by preparing a detailed analysis based on information obtained from right to know request, and they estimated that the voter deficit was 121,000 more votes than people that voted. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald John Trump did not know that he lost the election. His desk is littered with messages from these states telling him we need 10 days to straighten this out before we choose the electors. Donald Trump calls Mike Pence into his office and says, Mike, you're the president of the Senate. We need these states to clear these things up, close the Senate down for 10 days, and then y'all can count the votes. Let's clear it up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, President Trump did not know that he lost the vote. Let's go over to one other place. Jesse Morgan was a subcontractor, a tractor trailer driver for the United States Postal Service. And this man, a citizen under oath, states that he transported up to 280,000 completed ballots from New York to where? Pennsylvania, right before the election. 280,000 completed ballots. He transported them from New York to Pennsylvania, not from Pennsylvania, from New York. How are the ballots already completed in New York? And then the Post Office Inspector General, the OIG, investigated, and in his memorandum, he does not deny that Morgan was a subcontractor who took mail from Bethpage, New York, to Harrisburg and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. In addition, ladies and gentlemen, the OIG acknowledges that a contractor in Rochester, New York, printed 650,000 general election ballots that somehow went to Philadelphia before the election. And here is the fascinating part, ladies and gentlemen. Here is how the OIG explains the printing company delivering those ballots to Pennsylvania. He says the ballots for both Pennsylvania were most likely delivered to those respective locations by their delivery trucks or entered in the mail stream locally in Rochester, New York. So, ladies and gentlemen, the printing company produced 650,000 ballots, which was sold for a great amount of money. Yet that company did not know a year and a half later how it managed to get the ballots into Pennsylvania. The printers still don't know, according to their sworn testimony, how those ballots got into Pennsylvania. Did it use its own trucks or the Postal Service? They don't know. Even more amazing, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that the post office could not figure out whether or not it took those 650,000 ballots into Pennsylvania. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Does the post office not use tracking? Prior to the 2020 election, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the Michigan Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, said signature matching was the best way to authenticate ballots. After making that statement, however, Benson gutted the signature standard by telling election clerks to presume signatures were valid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, knowing this, President Trump did not know that he legitimately lost the election. And the prosecutor must prove to you that Donald Trump knew he lost this election. But in fact, he did not know. He knew that according to Jocelyn Benson, the best way to verify is signature verification. And then she changes the rules to presume that those signatures are valid. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, sued to require signature verification. He didn't want to overturn an election. He wanted to go by what Jocelyn Benson herself said was the best way to verify these mail-in ballots. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Donald Trump won that lawsuit 4 months after the election. That is when a judge ruled that Jocelyn Benson had broken the law. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump knew she broke the law. He knew it before January the 6th. He knew the laws were broken. He didn't know he won the or lost the election. He knew it needed to be verified. He knew that he had a right, according to article number, I believe, 2712, to demand a recount. That was his right. And because of her actions, the Michigan election is invalid and should not be certified, and they should have shut down the Senate for 10 days for this to be verified. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you think that Attorney Toto is through, I must bring you out to the deserts of Maricopa County, where Trump received 49% of the vote. Biden got 51%. The overseas military and citizens vote split like this. Trump, 5%. Biden, 95%. Did y'all hear me? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wake up over there before I throw my eraser at you. Listen to me. 49-51. Here comes the military vote. Trump gets 5%. Biden gets 95%. In addition, there was no documentation to support those bizarre numbers. None. Which accounted for 8,000 of Biden's votes. He only won by 10,000. Arizona has evidence of 204,000 harvested ballots. In Maricopa County, a panel of 6 people, including 3 document examiners, determined that 12% of the sampled mail-in ballots appeared to be phony. 12%. That's a lot of the mail-in ballots were phony. It was a 6-0 decision that implies the 204,000 mail-in ballots were phony countywide. That would be 20 times Biden's winning margin. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump didn't know he had lost this election. He knew it needed to be verified and that the electors needed to be held off until they were verified. And one more place, can I take y'all to Pima County, Arizona? Way back in 2020, this allegation went to the criminal division of the Department of Justice in Washington. But the Department of Justice won't talk about it. An anonymous whistleblower said he was at a meeting of Democrats where a plan was hatched to add 35,000 votes to Biden's totals. The Department of Justice knows nothing about it, but the whistleblower does. Thanks to Dr. Shiva Ayadari and his unique and brilliant statistical analysis, we know that this allegation is credible. Ladies and gentlemen, I've proven to you tonight, Donald Trump had no intent to commit a crime. He had every intent to prevent a crime. And with that, I rest my case. Good night, everybody.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA,
Where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
Well, hello, old moonstones and Bandit Bunner and Gino Young and Lady Fish and Meg Mono and Linda Riker and Dewanta and Hairs to You and Raphael Boo Boo, Sandy KM and T Lucko, Lady Fish, Danny Praise and Chloe 91, Noel Hartzog and Meg Mono and Shelly Rose. Hello, Shelly. I hadn't seen you in a while. Dewanta and let's see, JKD3D, Danny Praise, Lady Fish, Grooming Poodles, Noel Hartzog. Hello, T Collins. Hello, Lord. So many of you over on Rumble. And then over here on Fakebook, we've got Keith Moran. Hello, Brother Moran. Hello, hello. And then Ursula and Elaine Crowder. I love your company as well, darling. D. Rimmer 77. He said that I need CC for all vids. Closed caption. Well, I wished I knew how to do that, my friend. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you so very much. Hello, Kelly Gale. Brother Dale Mudgett, God bless you. Hello, everyone. Isabel Navarro. Hello, Amy Donahue. Hello, Maureen Couchard. Oh, no, that's Maureen. I know who that is. Yes. Brother Matthew Pask. Hello to you, Ann Horner. Karen Fisher. Somebody said you need Trump. Trump needs you to represent him. He can't afford Professor Toto, darling. No, I'm playing. Hello, Tina Shaflett, Lynn Demisel, Tara Beachtel. Thank you, Tara. Oh, I just need some gray hair and I would be Matlock. I love it. Sister Elizabeth Brody, Robin, Maureen LaQuire from the great state of Michigan. Oh, hello, Brother John Berlin. Brother Berlin wants to know if I'll sing my song Suddenly next Sabbath. I may do that, Brother John. I have not sang it in years, but we'll sure try. Brother Shane Sewell knows that gumbo pot is getting ready to do what? Explode. Oh, yeah, they've got to prove that he knew he lost. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Hello, Deborah Betts. Hello, Deborah. Eileen Kushan. Tom Chambers from Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth Huff from somewhere in Georgia. Georgia. Georgia, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Oh, hello, Georgia. Let's see. Ursula said that the verdict is not guilty. I believe that. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Wanda Stiltner. Hello, Teresa Geschwinder. I appreciate you, Teresa. Amy Donahue says not guilty. The Gales, let's see, is that the Gauls or the Gales? Let's see. I can't tell if that's the Gales or the Gauls. Whoever you are, I appreciate you. Let me see if I can see who that is. The Gauls. Okay, I see it now. Hello, All Tiger 2013, Sister Sandra Bralier. She finds Trump innocent. Lori Lopez. Thank you, Pastor. Diane Hernandez. Diana, God bless you. Kimberly West Dickman. Amen. Let's see who all's out there tonight. Lene Smith, y'all. There's Linnea. I know it, Linnea. Can you, darling, oh man, if you think we dance at our church normally, you just wait till we hear that verdict. Sister Janice Temple, great show. Thank you. She is a wonderful member of our local church here. By the way, I'll be preaching tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central. You don't want to miss it. For our Sabbath day, we celebrate the Sabbath at our church, which is the seventh day of the week. And we don't believe that Yahweh has ever done away with his Sabbath. So therefore, we still honor it. And we invite you to do the same with us tomorrow night. Oh, the Gauls want to see the dancing. So do I. Hello, Cartoon Steve. Karen Fisher, you're exactly right. Amen. By the way, for those that don't know how to watch our live services, you can do it. You can't do it on Rumble, unfortunately, but you can go right there at that, bam, at that QR code, scan on it, or you can go to fhtv.tv. Let's see if I can, yeah, right there. There, you can go to fhtv.tv right there, and we're always live there, or Facebook, or even on YouTube. So, all right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Let's see what we can get into. Y'all ready to go over to the big mailbox over here? Yay, let's see what's happening for those people trying to go to sleep. I love it. I just woke your whole house up. Hold on. Let's see what we got in the mailbox. Oh, good to see all of my friends that write me and love on us and support us. I'll tell you what, you don't know what your love means to us. It's not easy doing what we do, but when we see your letters in the mail and when we see your, by the way, all of our contact information is in the description box below. You can email us. You can, it's all there. Oh, by the way, before we read the mail, you do know, Sister Diana Carter said, great class, you woke up the jury. I love it. Folks, listen to me. Are you coming to see me October the 4th through the 8th in one of the most beautiful places you've ever been, Lake Gunnersville, Alabama? We're going to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. It is going to be out of this world. And guess what? Registration is free. Go right there. Bam, right there. And go ahead and register. Free of charge. That's right. register right now and get on over to Lake Gunnersville. We'll start that Wednesday night on October the 4th at 7 o'clock that night. All day the next day, all night that night. We're going to have chili cookouts. We're going to have pontoon boats on the lake. We're going to have barbecue cookouts. We're going to have choo-choo trains. Toto's train's going to be there for the kiddos. Sack races, tug of war. We're going to be baptizing probably 100 people out in the lake. If you've not been baptized in the name of Yeshua the Messiah, you should. Come on out and be with us. You can stay right there on the campground. They have a huge lodge at the Lake Gunnersville State Park. Go right now and reserve your lodge room, or you can rent an RV. They have primitive camping, but you don't want to miss it. Oh, you don't want to miss it. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. Go register now. What you waiting on? Register now, and you'll thank me later. I give you my word. You'll thank me later. It's where everybody goes in October. It's going to be marvelous. All right? What you waiting on? Go do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, before we read the letters, I don't know who sent me these two gifts. The reason I don't know is because they put it in a box, and there was a letter in the bottom of the box. I read the letter or card, whatever it was, and it told me who sent it. And I put the letter in my vehicle so that I wouldn't lose it, and wound up somebody threw it away. I don't know if it was because we cleaned the car out, but whoever sent me this gift, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Everybody knows that my other Toto dog, his leg got broke. So someone sent me a replacement. Look, isn't that sweet? Look, somebody sent me a replacement. So whoever sent me that replacement, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. Now I can put him right back there where my other one was, and I'll just love having that right there. Now, the same person sent me another gift, but this was not for me. This was for Mrs. Toto. Look how darling, precious. Hold on. Look at that with the ruby red slippers. Have y'all ever in your life seen something so precious? That's Mrs. Toto holding Toto with her ruby red slippers on. Isn't that amazing? Whoever sent me that, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to watch the chats to see if anybody is watching that sent that to me. But anyway, my wife fell in love with that. Thank you so much. Kathy Clark. Hold on, Kathy. She says, I don't have anybody to go with, unfortunately. I wish there was a way for people in the same state or close proximity to meet more like-minded folks. Kathy, email me, darling. I'll find somebody to come with you. I'll let you know who's coming from your area. Email me. Okay? You know my email, don't you? If not, it's right there. brothervon@gmail.com. I'll find somebody to ride with you. We've got a lot of people roommating, hooking up together, and what have you and whatnot. Oh, and there's my mailing address, everybody, if y'all want to send me some sweet letters. Here we go. From Jacksonville, Florida, Miss Victoria Carter. Thank you, Victoria. From Lee Summit, Missouri, the Schumers. Thank you. From Carrollton, Texas, Alliance Shomer Yisrael, and they sent a donation that we have forwarded already. To the person that they wanted that to go to. Oh, the Feliciano family. Yes, we've already taken care of that. Wonderful. Thank you so much from Carrollton, Texas. Hallelujah. All right. And then we've got somebody from over in Salisbury, North Carolina. Don't have no name on it. Wait a minute. It's got a card in it, though. Thank you, Pastor and Mrs. Vaughn, for sending me that cute card. I'm so blessed to have you as my pastor and to have a loving church family. This message couldn't have come at a better time. Thank you, and thank Yahweh. His mercies are, oh, that's from Camry Wingler. I know who that's from. All right. Little Camry. She's watching me on Roku tonight. Whoa, hold on. We have over 7,000 viewers on Roku tonight. Wow, Roku's getting pretty popular. If you don't know how to find us on Roku, download our streaming channel called First Harvest Ministries. This is from the Paytok family in Washington. This is from the Denbastels in Ohio. This is from Miss Teresa in Ascencio. This is from RM in Monticello, Indiana. And hello to Miss Connie from Laverne, Tennessee. The Morans from Indiana. Miss Tony Silcox, Pensacola, Florida. Miss Deborah Tuttle over in North Carolina. Ann Consorte. Hello, Ann. Eileen from Saginaw, Michigan. Rick Dugan, Canton, Ohio. Sharon Burlingame, Eatonville, Washington. Hello, Crystal from Jacksonville, Florida. Donna from Apopka, Florida. Susan from Navasota, Texas. Never heard of Navasota. The Bomas from the nation of Scotland. Hello, Scotland, the land of my people. That's right. The Beale family, Kingsport, Tennessee. The Resors from Ohio. The Sears from New York. Granville, Michigan. That is Kelly and Noel. I know them well. Michelle from Chico, California. And Miss Garcia from Miami Gardens, Florida. Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your sweet, kind words. I read every one of them. Let me just take one at random here and show you just the sweet, kind letters that we get. Well, I won't. They may not mean nothing to you, so I won't read them. But anyway, all right, what's next on the agenda? Let's take a few questions. I'm looking at the chat group. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. Any questions tonight? Any questions tonight? Any comments? Let's see. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. Professor of Stuffology. Go right ahead. Professor of Stuffology. I can only imagine what's about to come. Del Mudgett, should we expect more voter fraud this time? Absolutely. The only difference is the mail-in ballot problem has been fixed in most of the battleground states, which is huge. Jaron Jackson, I don't know him. The question is Biden ever going to be held accountable for his crimes? The answer is yes. Cartoon Steve said, why did it take 3 years to uncover the Michigan voter corruption? It didn't. They uncovered much of it years ago. We just could not get the Department of Justice to investigate it. Now, if you're speaking about what they just found, that's because the police report was not revealed to the public. It had been hidden. Nobody even knew about it. Only God knows what we're going to find 10 years from now. Do you still go to the Trump rallies? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I sure do. And I'm definitely go there every time he's arrested. So I'll be in Georgia when they arrest him next week, probably. Joel Wallaruno. Hello, hello, hello. What is the correct way to celebrate the Sabbath day? There's only 2 requirements: to do no servile work, which means regular employment, and to have a holy convocation, which means a service or a getting together with other Israelites or other believers. If you don't live in an area where they have a gathering, you can gather with us every Saturday morning on Zoom at 10 o'clock Central, where we have people from all over the world that come for Bible study. If you would like a link to that Bible study, you can email me, brothervon@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to get that to you. I appreciate and love you, Brother Dale Mudgett. Oh, Professor, what is allowed on the Sabbath day? Can I work on items that I make by hand? Oh, absolutely you can, darling. The Sabbath day is a delight. It's not about what you can't do. It's a joy. It's a wonderful day. It's a day of no servile work, meaning the work that you normally do as a slave or as an employee, anything servitude, you don't do it on that day. But whatever brings you rest and relaxation on that day, after you have assembled with the body, then that is your day to enjoy. It is such a delightful day. Eileen Kushan said, what's happening on the land? Well, that is a great question. Work is going on every day out there. We've got the machines that were donated. We were donated an excavator. We were donated a skid steer, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment donated to the land. So our men have been out there working on the land with those machines to dig out trenches and creek beds and getting everything ready to build the RV park early next year. Early next year, we'll have 50 RV parking spots available on the land, and then we'll go to work on the community center. So that's what we're doing now. Good night, Brother Kenneth Huff. Chelsea Gonzalez. I love Chelsea. Our next Super Sabbath is the 17th, next weekend, not this weekend, but next. I'm sorry, the 18th and the 19th and the 20th. For those that are coming to Super Sabbath, that Sunday, we're going to all go down to Oak Alley. It's an old antebellum mansion in South Louisiana. And we're going to spend the day out there in that area, enjoying the beautiful Southern Belle mansions and just enjoying a beautiful day of strolling on those grounds. It's going to be wonderful. So that is 18th, 19th, and the 20th. All right. When is Yeshua's birthday? Stacy, he was not born on Christmas morning. We know that. We do know that he was born 6 months after John the Baptist was born. We know that John the Baptist was born during the Passover season. So if you go 6 months forward, Yeshua would have been born during the Feast of Tabernacles, where he came and tabernacled among us. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Seal. Dr. Seal, I got your text early this morning, but I have been swamped. But I did say a prayer for you. That's my dear, dear friend. My dear, dear, dear friend. I do pray you'll get to be at Tabernacles this year so we can see you again. Let's see. Charlie Gann is coming to camp. Yay! Can't wait to see you at the feast. Oh, Sister Chelsea, their family will not be here to the following weekend. Well, we will make that weekend special as well. All right, that just means you'll get all of our attention. Amen. That'd be wonderful. Professor, is it possible to bring alcohol? To where? Where are you trying to bring alcohol? I don't know where you're trying to bring it. I'd like to, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. I'd like to bring wine to the Feast of Tabernacles. Is that allowed, Pastor? Well, it's public property, so we don't have control over the public property. Thank you, Sister Lynn. Good night, darling. Charlie Gann says, have you checked the mailbox lately? No, I will not check the mailbox until next Friday. I go every 2 weeks. That way I get a bunch of mail and blessings all at one time. It's so fun. Yay. All right, everybody. I love you with the love of the Lord. I pray you have a great night. I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday night, right back here in the Conservative College. Bye-bye, everybody.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with fire. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.